Hello, in this video I'm going to run through my personal Alela Artful Provocateur Commander Deck, which is Esper, and it's focused on casting plenty of artifacts and enchantments, taking advantage of those tokens and creatures that's flying and winning the game that way. So, white, blue, and black. First up, I'm going to run through the creatures, and then the instants and sorceries, artifacts and enchantments, and lands that make up this deck. So, Mesa Enchantress, for 3 mana, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. There are a ton of enchantments and artifacts, as you can see, and keeping our hand full is always great. Sublime Archangel, for 2 a white and a white, it's a 4/3 flyer with Exalted, and then other creatures you control have Exalted. You're going to have a ton of 1/1s floating around with Alela, and this is a great way to buff everything. Zur the Enchanter, when it attacks, you may search your library for an enchantment card with convert a mana cost 3 or less and put it onto the battlefield. It doesn't count as casting with Alela, but Zur can go get us any enchantment from our deck that we might need to solve whatever issue we're dealing with in the game. Ornithopter is 0 mana, it's an artifact and a flyer, so it becomes a 1/2, and we get a 1/1 off of it for 0 mana. Mendicant Core Guidelight, for white and a blue, it's an X3, where X is the power, which is the number of artifacts you control, and then whenever you get up to max speed, whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1 if you do copy it. So, good way to copy artifacts. Ornithopter of Paradise, it's a flyer and an artifact, and it's mana. It's great in this deck. Alced of Life's Bounty, for 1 white, it's a 1/1 lifelink. It's an enchantment, so it triggers our commander. And then for 1 mana, we can sack it to give target creature or enchantment protection from the color of our choice until end of turn, so it has some flexibility targeting our commander if we want to protect it, or any of our great enchantments. Archon of Sun's Grace, 3/4 for 4 flying lifelink with all of your Pegasus creatures have lifelink. Whenever an enchantment enters under your control, make it 2/2 flyer. So those would become 3/2s, which would have lifelink, 3/2s with our commander, and then it would be a 3/2 lifelink, which is great. Lurus of the Dream Den, companion, doesn't matter, lifelink, 3/2. During each of our turns, we may cast 1 permanent spell with convert a mana cost 2 or less from our graveyard. There are plenty of artifacts and enchantments that only cost 2 in this deck, and Lurus can help us get them back, plus give us lifelink. Baleful Strix, it's an artifact, so it triggers Alela. It's a 2/1 with Flying and Death Touch when our commander's in play, and whenever it enters, we draw a card. So, pretty fun there. Either Sworn Adjudicator, blah blah blah. For 4 blue, it's a 4/4 artifact creature, Valkadon Knights. It's a flyer. You can pay 3 tap to destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then 3 to untap it. So this is an artifact, it triggers it. It's a flying, it triggers our commander, and then we can pay 3 mana to destroy a problematic commander or enchantment that's stopping us from attacking. Spirited Companion, 2 mana, enters, draw a card. Triggers, we get a 1/1. Starnheim Courser, for 3 mana, it's a 2/2 flyer, artifact and enchantment spells you cost 1 less to cast, including Spirited Companion. World Queller, at the beginning of our upkeep, you may choose a card type. If you do, each player sacrifices a permanent of that type. You're going to have creatures that you can sacrifice constantly. You're going to have artifacts and enchantments you can sacrifice to deal with your opponent's more problematic things. World Queller is great in this deck. Research Thief, for 5 mana, it's a 3/3 flash flyer. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. This is kind of one of the more suspicious cards in the deck, I would say. It itself is a 3/3 that attacks, and then there's some random artifact creatures. Little suspicious. I kind of like it, but it's not the best. It's very expensive for 5 mana. Archon of Amiria, for 2 and a white, it's a 2/3 flyer. Each player can only cast 1 spell, and non-basic lands your opponent's control under the battlefield tapped. The deck will feel like it's behind a lot, and so slowing your opponents down and yourself, because you're only really casting 1 spell since you're not ramping in green. Inaz the Gale Force, for 3 a blue and a blue, it's a 4/4 flyer, attacking creatures with flying you +1/+1. But the part I love is whenever 3 or more creatures you control with flying attack, each player gains control of a non-land permanent of your choice controlled by the player to their right. So you can move things around and then just attack with 3 of your 1/1s and just give them a 1/1 and steal the opponent's best thing, which is super fun. Lots of fun comes from that card. Doomwake Giant, for 5 mana, it's a 4/6. When it or another enchantment enters, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 till end of turn. Deal with problematic scions. Have 2 things enter, and then all of a sudden you're giving everything -2/-2 that's not on your side, so your 1/1s don't die from this. Doomwake Giant's pretty good. Morbid Opportunist. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. We need to draw plenty of cards, and this is a great way to draw cards. This also works if your opponents attack each other with 3/3s, and they kill each other, you draw a card, which is great. Stormscape Familiar, white and black spells cost 1 less to play. We're not playing green, so we need some ramp, and this is just a flyer, so it's on theme, gets +1/+0, and then makes all of our white and black spells cheaper. Erebos Black Heartened, it's an enchantment and a creature, so it triggers our commander. And then whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. We have tons of 1/1s we can use as chump blockers, and then for black and a 1, we can sack another creature, like our chump block, like our 1/1s, and then target creature gets -2/-1 till end of turn. Stone Haven Outfitter. 2 mana, equipped creature control get +1/+1. Whenever an equipped creature you control dies, draw a card. There are some equipment that we're going to get to, so this is maybe a little early or premature to show you, but Edelon of Rhetoric, white 2/1/4. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. It's an enchantment, so it triggers our commander, and again, slows the game down. Empyrean Eagle for 1, a white and a blue. It's a 2/3 flyer. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. It's on, flyer, and it gives all of our 1/1s into 2/2s. Esper Sentinel, it's an artifact creature. It's a great card. Hushbringer, 2 mana, 2/1. So it becomes a 2/2 with flying and lifelink, and then creatures entering or dying don't cause abilities to trigger. Our commander has a cast ability, so this doesn't turn that off. And those are all of the creatures in my deck. Next, I'm going to go into instants and sorceries. First up is Extinction Event. So you can destroy problematic things. Now, your commander is a 4, and 0 is the 1/1s, and that's even. So you can choose even, destroy everything odd, and you keep all of your 1/1s and your commander, which is probably pretty good, but you can just give you some flexibility, gives you the option. By invitation only, 5 mana, choose a number between 0 and 13. Each player sacks that many creatures. If you have 6 1/1s, you can just sacrifice the 6 1/1s and choose 6, and then almost all of your opponents lose everything, and you just lose your 1/1. So by invitation only also gets your indestructible, but works well in this deck. Orod's Epiphany for 7 mana, create 2 1/1s and take an extra turn. Again, you're going to feel, I always feel like I'm behind, so taking an extra turn is great. And they giving me 2 1/1s is on theme with what my deck wants to do. Good old Counterspell and good old Souls to Plowshares. So those are all the instants and sorceries. Again, the main meat of this deck is going to be these artifacts and enchantments here. So let's get into it. Opposition for 2, a blue and a blue, it's an enchantment. Tap an untapped creature control to tap target artifact, creature, or land. You can tap your 1/1s to slow down problematic things from happening. Tapping lands is not great, but tapping big creatures, commanders, Galtas, or just problematic artifacts that might try to attack you is always good. So opposition is fun. Mirage Mirror for 3, it's an artifact. 2, it becomes a copy of target artifact, creature, enchantment, or land. That's on your opponent's side or your side, so it gives you some flexibility, whatever you need. Bastion of Remembrance for 3 mana, it's an enchantment, so it triggers our commander. When it enters, make a 1/1. Whenever creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So this is a way to turn your 1/1s that you're going to have fairy tokens lying around and then get some value off of them. Southern Tithe, Verity Circle. For 2 and a blue, it's an enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as attack, you may draw a card. So this is one of those situational things. You can grab a Zur if your opponents have a lot of, if you're playing against elves and they have a lot of things, or you're playing against like a Convoke deck, this can draw you a bunch of cards and Zur can go grab it. Glimmer Lens for 2 mana, artifact equipment from Mirrodin. So it enters with a 2/2 and puts itself on it. Whenever equipped creature and at least one other creature attack, draw a card. So it gives you access to card draw, and it's an equipment, and it's an artifact, and it sticks in play, which is great. Reconnaissance Mission for 2, a blue and a blue, and it's an enchantment. Whenever a creature controlled does combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So whenever one of your 1/1s, you may draw a card. And then if you just don't need it in the early game, you can just cycle it. Or if it's just not somehow good in the late game, you can just cycle it. Kai's Ghost Form, 1 black for an enchantment. Enchant target creature or planeswalker you control. Whenever enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. Put on your commander, and then your commander essentially gets 2 lives. Sword of the Realms for 2 mana, it's legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 engage vigilance. Whenever equipped creature dies, return to its owner's hand. So you can keep getting your creature, recasting it. Or you can have Halvar, God of Battle. 4 mana, 4/4 God. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target Ura equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. What? Attached to a creature you control to a different target creature you control. So it has to already be attached. But I played a Sword of the Realms, giving vigilance to your 2/3 flying Death Touch lifelink and making it a 4/3 is pretty good. And then if it dies, you get it back. Sword of the Meek for 2 mana, it's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2, equip 2. Whenever a 1/1 enters under your control, you may return it from your grave to the battlefield attached to that creature. I believe that there's a combo with this card in this deck. Let me try to see if I can find it. Maybe I didn't put it in this build. I guess I didn't put it in this build. So if you had a way to sacrifice Sword of the Make for mana or something, you could go in your graveyard, you make a 1/1, and then it just keeps looping. Oh wait, I guess it just returns, it doesn't cast, so it doesn't trigger. Never mind, ignore everything I said. Sword of the Meek. +1/+2, whenever one of your 1/1s, just a random fairy enters, you can get it back if someone killed it. Mirror Maid, 3 mana, you may have it enter as a copy of an artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. Triggers our commander, can copy a Bastion, or a Conjurer's Closet, not a Conjurer's Closet, a Cathar's Crusade, or a Smothering Tithe, or just something great on our opponent's side. Mirror Maid's good. Arcane Signet, we're playing 3 colors, 2 colors artifact is great in a 3-color deck, and every deck since Throne of Eldraine is just going to play this card forever. Michiko's Reign of Truth for 2 mana. It's a saga. Target creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact or equipment you control, and then it happens again, and then on the 3rd turn you exile it, and it gets +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. So 2 mana, cheap enchantment, buffs some things, buffs your flyers, buffs your Alela so you can gain life off of it. Alela, so. Rabble Rousing, 4 and a white for an enchantment with Hideaway 5. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 citizen tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So you can make it doubles the amount of tokens you have every time you attack. Or it doubles the number of creatures you have. And their tokens, so they die to like the Bastion and all kinds of those effects, and eventually you can cast something for free. Lightning Greaves, giving our commander haste and Shroud is great, and then all of like the 1/1s you can give them Shroud or something. Mr. Kimura, don't have to explain why that's good. Omnious Seas, white and a 1 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever you draw a card, put a Foreshadow counter on it, remove 8 Foreshadow counters from it, make an 8/8. And a cycling too. With our incidental card draws, you can get this down early and then start cranking out some 8/8s from it. Talisman of Progress, tap, add white or blue, and you take a damage. Dimir Signet, Ristic Study. Coat of Arms can make, all of our fairies, count all the fairies, and make all the fairies huge. Ghostly Prison, creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. So it slows them down from being able to attack you. Military Intelligence, whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. If you attack with 2 1/1s, you draw a card. Swiftfoot Boots, giving our commander hexproof and haste, or whatever creature you cast is great. Bident of Thassa, for 2, a blue and a blue, it's a legendary enchantment artifact. Whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So all of our 1/1s attack. And you get to draw a bunch of cards if they don't have blockers. If they don't have blockers. For 1, a blue, tap, creature your opponents control attack to turn Fable. Don't really use that, just use the ability to draw cards. Breath Stealer's Crypt. For 2, a blue and a black, it's an enchantment. Whenever a player draws a card, they reveal the card. If it's a creature card, that player pays 3 or discards the card. So this counts us, but we are not playing that many creatures. But our opponents are going to play a lot of creatures. This is an insane amount of artifacts and enchantments. I'm shaking the camera. This is like, I have almost more than I have lands. So this does not punish us as much as it'll punish our opponents. Tempting Contract, 4 mana for an artifact. Whenever, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent may create a treasure token. For each opponent who does, create a treasure token. So, play some politics. Wound Reflection, 6 mana enchantment. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. And that's every end step, even if your opponents attack each other. Favorable wins, triggers our commander and makes all of our 1/1s into 2/2s. Glasswing Grace, 5 mana enchantment, 2/2 flying and lifelink. Not the best card, but it is a tap land on the back, which is phenomenal. So that's why it's in this deck. It's a tap land that can also fill in our deck. Cathar's Crusade, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. So every single time you cast an artifact and enchantment, all of your fairies get a permanent +1/+1 boost, which is great. Soaring, Fellower Stone, it taps to add 1 mana of any color that a land opponent's control produce. You're playing 3 colors. Chances are one of your opponents is playing at least one of your colors, if not all of your colors. So this is an untapped 2 mana rock. Skull Clamp, 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/-1. Whenever equipped creature dies, you draw 2 cards and equip 1. We can turn the 1/1s that our commander makes into 2 cards with Skull Clamp. Whip of Erebos, creatures you control have lifelink, and you can pay 4 to temporarily return something. Really, we're just focused on having that lifelink. Azorius Signet, don't have to explain why that's great. Throne of the God Pharaoh, only 2 mana legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the number of tapped creatures you control. You have a lot of 1/1s flying around. A lot of tapped creatures. Let's get the game ended. Next, on to the lands. Exotic Orchard, same as Fellower Stone. Deserted Beach. Hallowed Fountain, Castle Vantress, Shattered Sanctum, River of Tears, Isolated Chapel, Plains, Mirkwood Passway with the blue line on the back, Orborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, Underground River, Rafine's Tower, Hengegate Pathway, Shipwreck Marsh, Caves of Koilos, Drowned Catacomb, Marsh Flats, Castle Ardenvale, get some more tokens, Sea of Clouds, come into play untapped, Island, Godless Shrine, Watery Grave, Scalding Tarn, Nimbus Maze, Glacial Fortress, Path of Ancestry. We don't have any other fairies, but we're playing a 3-color deck that's not playing green, so just having access to any mana we want is great. And actually, Hushbringer is a fairy. Just noticed that. So, we do have fairies. Misty Rainforest, Command Tower, Verdant Catacombs, Swamp, and Skycloud Eclipse. Expanse. I'm sure you saw proxies in the deck. My playgroup is pretty light on proxies. As long as they're on one of the cards, we can put them in onto all of our decks. And that is my Alela Artful Provocateur. Provocateur. Whatever. The Provoker. So that's my deck. Let me know your thoughts on this deck in the comments below. If you listened to me talk about this deck for 16 minutes, you probably enjoyed it, so give me a like. It helps a ton. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and may your top decks be ever in your favor. Thank you.